I was coming from Kroger store, by the Walnut Avenue. I was waiting for the green line. So then, the other person came and crushed my car from the rear.
So I remember getting a call, and the guy on the phone said, "Is this the karate attorney?" And I said, "Yes." He said, "Fantastic. Well, I need your help." And I said, "What happened?" He said, "I was in an accident and I'm in pain." I said, "Where do you live?" He said, "I live in Dalton." I said, "Sweet, that's my hometown." I get his address and I drive to his home, and I found the sweetest old man that you could ever think of. I remember asking him, "Are you in pain?" And he said yes. And I can tell it was hard for him to say yes, because we're macho guys. We don't want to say we're in pain. We like to suffer in silence. Zora Neale Hurston said, "If you are silent about your pain, they'll kill you and say you enjoyed it."
I feel like that my spine was broken, and I feel really, really, really bad. And I thought, the spine is something very important. The insurance, first of all, they didn't want to hear me. And they told me that they were not going to take care of my case because the person who was driving, it was not in the policy.
Now there was a surprise in this case that we did not expect. The driver that actually drove that vehicle was an excluded driver, which means even though our client was not at fault, he had nothing to do with the wreck, and everything had to do with the guy that hit him, that person was not covered. There was insurance on the car, but the driver of the car was excluded. You may be wondering, how does that even happen? Well, let's say you have kids in your household and the insurance company calls you up and says, "Hey, your kid is at a driving age, they're 16 years old. Would you like to add him or her to the policy?" And so you say, "Yes, of course." And to your astonishment, $500 a month premium then becomes $1,500 a month. And when you see this, you're like, no. Actually, I'm okay. It's just me and my wife and we're fine. We don't want our kid to be on the policy. But what they don't tell you is now, if God forbid, your kid gets in a wreck driving your car, even though your car is insured, your kid is an excluded driver. So a similar situation happened in this particular case. The defendant, the person that caused the wreck, was not covered. There was no insurance available with the defendant's insurance company. Luckily, our client had something called uninsured motorist coverage, which means that if, God forbid, the situation arises when the other person that hit him does not have insurance, he's protected.
I never thought that these things was going to happen. I would recommend Abraham to others, to friends or people that need, his services. I would recommend him. Wow, yes, I'm very, very satisfied. They treated me really, really, really well. I think there's nobody else that could do the job what Abraham does.
He went and got the treatment that he needed. He went and got MRI'd on all injured body parts, and he finished treatment, and we were able to get a decent recovery from his uninsured motorist carrier. This case was able to be resolved within 8 months from beginning to end, but it wouldn't have been had he not been extra prudent and had uninsured motorist coverage on his own policy. And that's the story of this one.